My dear brothers and sisters, you who seek the truth hidden in the heart of time, pause for a moment and listen. Imagine a world older than the oldest tales, a land where the human soul sang in harmony with the stars, where wisdom was not a possession but a living breath. This is the story of Lemuria, a forgotten cradle of humanity's spirit, a sacred memory whispering to us across the ages. Today, I invite you to journey with me, not as strangers, but as pilgrims of the soul, to uncover the rise, the radiance, and the mysterious fall of this ancient civilization. If your heart stirs at the sound of its name, know that this tale is not merely history, it is a call to awaken the divine spark within you. In the beginning, long before the empires we read of in books, before the pyramids touched the sky or the great cities of old were dreamed, there was Lemuria. It was not merely a place, my dear friends, but a living hymn to the Creator's love. Stretching across what we now call the Pacific, its lands wove together the shores of India, Madagascar, Australia, and the Americas in a tapestry of vibrant life. The book of Genesis speaks of a garden where humanity walked with God, and in Lemuria we find an echo of that sacred time. This was a land where the earth was revered as a mother, where every tree, every stream, every creature was seen as a reflection of the divine light. The Lemurians, oh, how wondrous they were! They were not like us in our present form, weighed down by the density of matter. Their bodies shimmered with an inner radiance, their souls attuned to the rhythms of the cosmos. Scripture tells us God created man in his own image, Genesis 1 verse 27, and in the Lemurians we see humanity's first reflection of that divine image, ethereal, luminous, poised between the physical and the spiritual. They walked gently upon the earth, not as conquerors, but as stewards, their hearts open to the sacred unity of all creation. Their lives were a prayer, their every breath a song of gratitude to the one who made them. My friends, let us reflect for a moment. In our world today, so often divided by strife and greed, can we not hear the whisper of Lemuria's harmony? The psalmist sings, "The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands," Psalm 19 verse 1. The Lemurians lived this truth. They saw the Creator's glory in every leaf, in every star, and in one another. Their society was not built on power or wealth, but on the deepening of the soul. Imagine a world, my dear ones, where conflicts are rare because hearts are joined in empathy, where the joy of one lifts all and the sorrow of one is shared by all. This was the golden age of Lemuria, a time when humanity knew no separation from the divine. Yet, as we turn the page of this sacred story, we find that even in such a radiant world, shadows began to form. The gospel reminds us the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it, John 1 verse 5. But in Lemuria, as in our own hearts, the light faced a subtle challenge. Some among the Lemurians, in their curiosity and ambition, began to turn their gaze from the spirit to the material world. They wondered what it might be like to shape matter, to seek individual power, to taste separation from the whole. This was not yet a fall, my friends, but the first step toward it, a quiet turning of the heart that would, in time, change the course of their destiny. Let us pause here, my brothers and sisters, and ask ourselves, do we not also feel this pull? In our pursuit of progress, do we sometimes forget the sacred unity that binds us to one another and to God? The story of Lemuria is not distant, it lives in us. It calls us to cherish the light within, to nurture the harmony that Lemuria once embodied. As we continue this journey, let us hold fast to the hope that we, too, can return to such a state of grace, guided by the love that created us all. My dear brothers and sisters, let us now walk deeper into the heart of Lemuria's story, where the light of their wisdom shone brightest, yet where the seeds of their fall began to take root. The Lemurians were not merely dwellers in a land, they were bearers of a sacred understanding, a knowledge of the universe that flowed from their communion with the Creator. As the Apostle Paul writes, "For since the creation of the world God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made," Romans 1 verse 20. In Lemuria, this truth was lived. They saw God's hand in the dance of the stars, in the pulse of the earth, and in the silent language of the soul. The wisdom of the Lemurians was rooted in their unity with all creation. They spoke not with words as we so often do, but through the heart, through a telepathic bond that wove their thoughts and feelings into a single tapestry. Imagine, my friends, a world where misunderstanding is rare, where compassion flows as naturally as a river to the sea. Their children were taught to listen to the energies of the plants, the stones, the heavens, not to dominate them, but to learn from them. Their education was not of the mind alone, but of the heart and soul, a nurturing of the divine spark within each person. This was a civilization that understood the words of Jesus, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God," Matthew 5 verse 8. Central to their way of life were the crystals, which they revered as living gifts from the earth. These were not mere objects, but vessels of consciousness, humming with the energy of creation. The Lemurians used them for healing, for amplifying their prayers, for storing the memories of their people. Some say that even now, deep within the earth, these sacred crystals hold the wisdom of Lemuria, waiting for those whose hearts are open to receive it. Their healers worked with sound, with sacred chants, with the vibrations of love to restore balance to body and spirit. They knew that true health begins in the soul, for as Proverbs teaches, a cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones, Proverbs 17 verse 22. Yet, my dear ones, even as Lemuria glowed with this divine light, a subtle shift began to stir. The book of Ecclesiastes reminds us there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens, Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1. For Lemuria, the season of harmony began to give way to a new curiosity, a fascination with the material world. Some among them, in their freedom and creativity, sought to explore the pleasures of the physical, to wield power over matter, to taste the illusion of separation. This was not yet a sin, but a turning of the heart, a step away from the unity that had defined them. Their bodies grew denser, their telepathic bonds weakened, and the crystals, once tools of healing, began to serve individual desires. This shift, my friends, was not sudden but gradual, like a river carving a new path through the earth. Over generations, the collective consciousness that had united Lemuria began to fracture. Groups formed, each with their own visions of life. Some clung to the ancient ways, seeking to preserve their sacred bond with the divine. Others ventured further into the material, building structures, gathering resources, seeking influence. The harmony that once flowed effortlessly now required effort to maintain. The earth itself seemed to sense this discord, trembling with quakes and storms as if mourning the loss of its children's unity. Let us reflect, my brothers and sisters. Do we not see the same tension in our own lives? We, too, are tempted to chase what is fleeting, to prioritize the seen over the unseen, to forget the sacred bond that unites us with God and one another. The story of Lemuria is a mirror showing us the beauty of what we can be and the peril of losing our way. Even in this moment of turning, there was hope. The elders of Lemuria, those wise souls who held fast to the ancient truths, raised their voices in warning. They spoke of a time when the land might be lost beneath the waves if humanity did not return to the path of love and unity. My dear friends, these warnings echo through time to us today. The prophet Isaiah calls us to learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, Isaiah 1 verse 17. In Lemuria, justice was not merely fairness, but living in harmony with all creation. As we ponder their story, let us ask ourselves, how can we, in our time, heed the call to return to unity? How can we honor the earth, our brothers and sisters, and the divine light within us all? The wisdom of Lemuria is not lost, it lives in our hearts, waiting to guide us home. My dear brothers and sisters, we now approach the sorrowful yet sacred moment in Lemuria's story, the time of its fall, a moment that echoes the frailty of our own human journey. The Book of Lamentations speaks of a city that was queen among the provinces, but has now become a slave, Lamentations 1 verse 1. So too did Lemuria, once a radiant beacon of divine harmony, begin to falter under the weight of its people's choices. The shift that began as curiosity grew into a deeper division, a turning away from the unity that had bound them to the Creator and to one another. As generations passed, the Lemurians' hearts grew heavy with the allure of the material world. Their once ethereal forms became solid, their telepathic bonds faded, replaced by words that could not fully capture the soul's depth. The sacred crystals, meant for healing and communion, were now used to amplify personal desires, to build towers of pride rather than bridges of love. The unity that had defined Lemuria fractured into competing visions, and with this division came the first whispers of conflict, of want, of separation. The earth, their beloved mother, groaned under this discord, trembling with quakes, erupting in fire, and rising in waves that seemed to weep for her children. The elders, those faithful stewards of Lemuria's sacred wisdom, cried out in warning. They spoke of a coming reckoning, a time when the land would be swallowed by the seas if the people did not return to the path of love. But for many, the call was drowned by the clamor of ambition. The gospel warns us, what good is it for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? Mark 8 verse 36. In Lemuria, this truth became a living parable. The land that had been a garden of grace was now shaken by cataclysms, earthquakes that split mountains, volcanoes that darkened the skies, and oceans that rose to claim what had been forsaken. When the end came, it was both swift and sorrowful. Cities of light sank beneath the waves, mountains crumbled, and the vibrant lands of Lemuria were lost to the deep. Yet, my friends, the story does not end in despair. Those who survived carried fragments of Lemuria's wisdom in their hearts, scattering across the world to distant shores. In their songs, their dreams, their sacred stories, they preserved the echo of a time when humanity lived as one with the divine. The psalmist sings, though the mountains be shaken and the hills be removed, yet my unfailing love for you will not be shaken. Isaiah 54 verse 10. Even in Lemuria's fall, God's love endured, whispering hope through the ages. Let us now turn our hearts to the legacy of Lemuria, a legacy that lives not in ruins but in the eternal spirit of humanity. Across the world, in the sacred tales of the Polynesians, the Aboriginal Australians, the Tamil peoples, and countless others, we hear echoes of a lost homeland, a land called Mu, Hiva, or Kumari Kandam, swallowed by the sea. These stories, separated by oceans, sing of a time when humanity walked in harmony with the Creator. They are not mere myths, my dear ones, but memories of the soul, calling us to remember who we are. Even in the physical world, traces of Lemuria endure. Beneath the Pacific, ancient structures lie submerged, stone terraces and pathways that defy explanation, like the Yonaguni Monument near Japan. On distant shores, megaliths and petroglyphos bear symbols of celestial knowledge, of energies unseen, of a wisdom that transcends time. But the truest legacy of Lemuria is not in stone or story. It is in you, my brothers and sisters. Do you feel a longing for unity, a yearning to heal the earth, a quiet knowing that we are all connected? These are the whispers of Lemuria, stirring within your soul. The Apostle Peter writes, "You are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession." 1 Peter 2 verse 9. In our time, those who hear Lemuria's call are part of this sacred priesthood, not of temples, but of hearts, healers and paths, those who tend the earth and lift the broken. You are the living echo of Lemuria's spirit. Your love, your compassion, your quiet acts of kindness are rebuilding what was lost, thread by thread, heart by heart. The practices of our age, meditation, healing with crystals, sacred sound, and reverence for nature, are not new, but a reawakening of what Lemuria knew. They are signs of a world remembering its sacred purpose. My beloved friends, the story of Lemuria is not a tale of a distant past, but a call to the present, a call to awaken the divine within us and to live as Lemuria once did, in unity, love, and reverence. We stand at a crossroads in our world, where division, greed, and disconnection threaten to lead us astray. Yet, like the elders of Lemuria, we are called to raise our voices, not in fear, but in hope. The book of Revelation speaks of a new heaven and a new earth, Revelation 21 verse 1. And we are invited to build that new earth now, through every act of love, every moment of forgiveness, every choice to honor the sacred in all creation. The fall of Lemuria was not its end, for its spirit lives in the stars, in the songs of the wind, in the quiet places of the heart. Some say that souls who walked its lands have returned in this critical hour, drawn by a mission to heal, to awaken, to guide humanity toward a new golden age. Do you feel this stirring within you? That longing for a simpler, holier life, that empathy for the suffering, that love for the earth. These are not mere feelings, but the voice of your soul remembering Lemuria. Jesus tells us, The kingdom of God is within you. Luke 17 verse 21. The kingdom of Lemuria is there too, waiting to be reborn in your choices, your courage, your love. To awaken the Lemurian within is not to flee the world, but to transform it. It is to live with reverence, to see the divine in every face, to heal our wounds so we may heal others. It is to restore the sacred balance of the masculine and feminine within us. Action and intuition, strength and nurturing, woven into a harmonious whole. This path is not easy, my friends. It demands courage to walk against the tide, to choose stillness over haste, compassion over gain, unity over division. But you do not walk alone. Across the world, countless souls are hearing the same call, weaving a new tapestry of hope, one act of love at a time. The true tragedy of Lemuria was not the sinking of its lands, but the forgetting of our divine nature. The true triumph is that we are remembering. We are not separate, not powerless. We are children of the Creator, woven together in a web of love, capable of creating a world more beautiful than we dare dream. The spirit of Lemuria is not behind us, it is before us, calling us to a future where ancient wisdom and new hope merge into a new age of grace. As we close this journey, my heart is full of gratitude for you, my brothers and sisters who have walked with me through the memory of Lemuria. If your soul has stirred, if a quiet whisper has touched your heart, know that this is no accident. You are part of this awakening. The wisdom of Lemuria lives within you, waiting to be lived, to be shared, to be woven into a world that hungers for healing. Let us go forth, not to build empires, but to build bridges of kindness, of compassion, of love. Together, we can create a new earth where the harmony of Lemuria shines once more. If this message has touched you, I invite you to join our community to walk this path of remembering together. There are more sacred stories to uncover, more truths to share. Until we meet again, keep your heart open, your feet grounded, and your soul attuned to the divine. The past is not gone, it lives within us, calling us home. May God's peace be with you, now and always.